You can't explain driving this new Corvette. You've got a new engine, new transmission, you've got the mid-engine. There's a lot of newness about this vehicle that makes it revolutionary.
Let's do a once-over of this once-in-a-lifetime vehicle. First, some interior conveniences. We have the glove box, which locks when in valet mode. There's an accessory power outlet here under the glove box for cell phones and other chargeable accessories. The center console storage compartment can be accessed by pressing this button. USB and auxiliary ports are inside. This compartment locks with the car and in valet mode. The electric parking brake is located here and can always be activated even if the ignition is off. This is how you use the available lumbar adjustment and bolster adjustment. The available head-up display control is here, to the left of the steering wheel. To pair a phone, use the infotainment screen and select the phone icon, then Connect Phone, Add Phone. Now from your phone's Bluetooth setting, select the name of the infotainment screen and follow the instructions. For NFC pairing information and more, see your infotainment system manual. Now for the doors. If you've got your key fob within 3 feet of the door handle, just grip and press the door handle touchpad. If the vehicle has lost battery power, you can open the door manually with a key. If you're inside the vehicle and power is lost, to open the door, pull up on the emergency door release handle located on the floor next to the door sill. Here's where you release the hatch, or trunk. You can also use your key fob, or press the release touchpad here when the vehicle is unlocked. To close it, you just pull part way with light force, and it'll go the rest of the way on its own. You can open the hood with the release button when the vehicle is in park. You can also press twice on the remote key, or locate the touchpad in the grille opening near the driver's side headlamp. Press it once to release the hood. With any of these approaches, you'll then need to lift the hood slightly until it automatically raises and holds. Opening the hood with no electrical power should only be done in an emergency. Then you'll use the manual release cable located by the brake pedal. The hood is not heavy enough to latch under its own weight. It will remain open until the striker is pushed into the latch. Firmly press down on the front edge of the hood until it clicks twice. To access the battery, first the right hand and left hand side shields need to be removed. Then remove the second cover assembly. If your Corvette isn't driven weekly or the battery is disconnected or drained, you may want to opt for the battery maintainer package. Just plug it into a standard electrical outlet and then into the underhood accessory power outlet. It's recommended to use a battery maintainer.
And you just keep that connected while you have your vehicle stored, so there's no worries when you go to start your vehicle after it's been stored for weeks or months, and you can hit the road.
But if you don't have one and plan to use your Corvette infrequently, you can remove the negative cable from the battery to keep it from running down. When the battery power is restored, the windows will need to be indexed by cycling them up and holding up for a second. If you ever have a loss of power, see your owner's manual. Lastly, do not take your Corvette through an automatic car wash. Some car washes may damage the wide wheels and tires and aren't compatible with Corvette's ground clearance.
The safest thing to do is to hand wash your brand new baby.
If your Corvette's power is lost or low, there are several ways to access your vehicle. Press the button on the side of the key fob to pull out the physical key. Insert the key into the backup key cylinder tucked under the air inlet behind the door handle to open the driver's side door. If you need to retrieve something from the cargo area, remove the rear license plate to access the second backup key lock cylinder. Insert the key to open the trunk. Locate the manual release cable loop in front and to the left of the brake pedal. Pull it 2 times to release the hood. Lift the hood slightly until the gas strut system automatically raises and holds the hood in position. Remove the left and right side shields in the underhood compartment to access the battery cowl cover. Remove the cover to access battery terminals to jumpstart the vehicle. After power has been restored, reinstate automatic lowering and raising of the windows, or window indexing, by starting the vehicle, partially opening the window to be programmed, and then fully closing the window. Continue to hold up the window switch briefly after the window has closed. Fully open the window. Continue to hold down the window switch briefly after the window has opened. If you're inside the vehicle while the vehicle battery is weak or disconnected, pull the release handle on the floor near each door opening to open the door. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
For us, the cars are so fast, the aerodynamics are really a safety issue. It's not like you can just pen any design and then just apply it over the rest of the body.
So doing thumbnail sketches, early ideas, it helps us understand the lay of the land more or less, the opportunities that we have within the aerodynamics of this car.
When you look at the new mid-engine Stingray, you can see the effect of aircraft design. Lean, purposeful surface development, and in particular the aerodynamic aspects. In terms of the three elements that play a part in that, drag, of course, that's the efficiency of air going over the surface, cooling, and then downforce, keeping the vehicle stable.
Those fundamentals were real important at the beginning. And once you nail those down, then it kind of gets into more of the sculpture of the car.
We see the car evolving, and we have this great process where it's part art, so hand sculpting clay, and part digital math-based design. So we sculpt the car, then we scan it, and then we'll use numerically controlled machines to recut that surface back on the clay. You go back to the sculptors, and they go start finessing the car, change the surfaces, make them blend together the way you want.
We started at the very front of the car, and at the very center of the front of the car is your highest wind velocity.
We don't want a bunch of air under the car because that creates lift, so we have a bunch of air dams.
This next car will have a hybrid rear spoiler that touches down in the middle and then flows air under it on the outboard corners. Developing the aerodynamics, there are things that we do so that we can see the cause and the effect.
The Corvette has heat exchangers tucked away behind all of the openings. The air runs down the side of the car, and then we actually pump that air through the engine compartment, and it's evacuated through the rear wheel openings underneath the car and through vents that we have added to the hatch. It doesn't look like there's any fat in the car at all. All the surfaces are pulled as taut as possible over the mechanicals underneath. And that gives the car a real dynamic energy, something that draws people to it visually.
Everything is new about this car, and of course, for design, we want to leverage that.
As we watch the car evolve, we see the themes coming out. We see the car move towards its production shape.
We left no stone unturned. We were constantly asking ourselves, could we make something newer, better, more unique? It still had to have the feel and look and maintain the brand Corvette, but we had to do it in a new and unique way.
When I come in and see the sculptors and designers and engineers working around the clay model, stepping back, it's like watching a symphony orchestra with the interplay between all the different people to create a unique personality, a character, a soul for a vehicle that people will absolutely resonate with and love.
Near-field communication, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Bluetooth, all different ways you can seamlessly connect your smartphone to Corvette. Pair your phone to Corvette's Bluetooth by tapping on the phone icon on the center infotainment screen, and then Add Phone. Press the Press to Talk button and say Pair Phone to bring up this menu with your voice. From your phone's Bluetooth settings, select the name shown on the infotainment screen. Follow the pairing instructions, and then the phone screen will appear when pairing is complete. Utilize near-field communication, or NFC, by unlocking your smartphone, enabling NFC, holding your phone next to the NFC icon above the volume knob, and then following the on-screen pairing instructions. To utilize Corvette's standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capabilities, plug in the factory-provided USB cable into a USB data port. The respective icon will illuminate on the center infotainment screen. Tap the icon to bring life to some of your phone's content right on Corvette's touchscreen display. For more information, refer to the owner's manual. Corvette offers up to 5 cameras and 4 different views. Tap the Camera app on the center infotainment screen, available front camera button on the center console, or shift into reverse to launch Corvette's camera views. A row of icons sit low on the screen, giving you access to a wide array of viewpoints. The standard HD rear vision camera displays an image of the area behind the vehicle. Rear junction view displays a view that shows objects directly to the left and right of the back of the vehicle. Front overhead view electronically stitches images from the 2 front cameras to show an overhead view of your Corvette. Ideal for precise maneuvering in tight parking spots. Press the front camera button on the center console to also recall this view. Curb view camera displays a front, top-down view at the top, and the left and right front camera images on the bottom, enabling a better perspective on what's in front of your Corvette. Curb view will also initiate automatically when shifting from reverse to drive. Flip the switch on Corvette's available rear camera mirror to use it as a conventional rear view mirror or as a camera-based rear view mirror. Compared to a traditional inside rear view mirror, this rear view mirror display provides a wider, less obstructed field of view to assist when driving, changing lanes, and checking for vehicles and traffic conditions. Utilize the 3 buttons on the lower right-hand corner to adjust the zoom, brightness, and vertical tilt of the display. Tap the available Performance Data Recorder, or PDR, icon on the center infotainment screen to record high-definition video of your driving experience on or off the track, capturing video, audio, and vehicle performance data, utilizing an additional camera in the windshield. Later analyze the recorded session from the PDR in-vehicle app while in park, or by using the Cosworth Toolbox software on your computer. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
We're going from 10 colors to 12 colors. This will be the most we've ever offered. What we're finding is that our consumers want to bring a little bit of their own identity in the car and really want to exemplify who they are and bring their own emotion out. Yellow has always been synonymous with Corvette racing. One of the new colors that we brought in is what we're calling Accelerate. So we did a lot of research around color theory and found one of the most sensitive areas to the eye is a yellow that has a little bit of blue in it. We took the yellow from where everybody has been used to, which was a little bit more on the red side, and just pumped up the chroma, brought in some of that blue, still the yellow family, but really brings this most noticeable color that we've ever had. Our most iconic color is torch red. It's synonymous with the vehicle and is maintained all the way through the palette to now. Rapid is another real beautiful piece, and what I love about Rapid is it's this really bright blue. In my personal opinion, it's a little bit more exotic, global, really kind of tells the story of a supercar. Another new color that we're offering is Zeus Bronze. We knew that we wanted to do these more tonal and environmental pieces, and I believe Zeus Bronze ties in with our natural dip, the interior, in a beautiful way. And then the other main point that we did on the interior was the stitching and seatbelts. And this is really giving you a step above black when you go down that path. Then it also really pops the color a bit more. And it really just brings another example of that craft and quality. And that carries through in every interior in the car. The way I kind of always look at color is that it has to have an opinion. If it's just on there and somebody's just like, oh, it's just gray. It's not just gray. This is sky cool gray. This is a color that has tonality to it and really brings you into it and immerses you in it.
One of the great features about this car is that you're able to kind of make it your own. I don't have to, mess around with my controls every time I get in the car. As I'm driving, it doesn't feel right. I know when I get in that it's in the perfect location and I'm ready to go from A to B.
Become as unforgettable to your Corvette as it is to you. It can learn to remember your comfort settings for the seat, mirrors, and steering wheel. The passenger seat has memory settings as well. There are 2 memory settings plus settings for exit positions. If your Corvette has an available memory package, then the seat entry memory can be accessed and saved through the vehicle personalization setting on your infotainment display. This way, there's no need to adjust your settings each time you drive. It will recognize you by one of the 2 included key fobs.
So if I've set my entry seat to a certain location, it will recognize key fob 1 and it'll put the seat in my driver position. If my husband drives the car the next time, it'll recognize him as key fob 2. It will put it in his driver preferred location.
The owner's manual will walk you through how to set up and turn off seat entry memory if you need further assistance. Adjusting the side mirrors is done by using these buttons. This one for the driver's side and this one for the passenger side. The arrows allow you to find your ideal mirror angles. When parking, you may want to fold your mirrors inward to prevent damage. Some vehicles require manual folding, while some have power folding mirrors. You press this button to fold the mirrors and press it again to unfold them. This can be set to fold automatically when locked or folded remotely with the fob by holding lock.
Corvette's standard 12-inch diagonal customizable instrument display and available head-up display projects a variety of vehicle messages and information right in front of the driver to help keep their focus on the road ahead. Use the right side steering wheel controls to view the main menus. Press the left or right arrow to move between the display zones. Rotate the thumb wheel up or down to move through the menus. Trip computer, performance, audio, maintenance, options, and simplify. Press the thumb wheel to open a menu, select, or reset an item. Select Trip Computer to see trip information, fuel economy, a trip timer, and the current drive cycle. Initiate the Performance menu and gain access to a 0 to 60 timer, lap timer, and friction circle to show inertia being exerted on the vehicle. Select Audio, and the thumb wheel will act as a seat control to switch between stations and songs. Choose the Maintenance menu to see oil and transmission fluid life, available air filter, and engine life. Open the Options menu and select Display Design to scroll through the different themes and gauge layouts, such as Tour, Sport, Track, or Weather. Press the thumb wheel to select a desired theme. Rotating the driver mode control knob will bring up specific themes linked to each drive mode. You can also configure your favorite theme to display during all drive modes or when activating Z mode. Choose Info Tile Selection from the Options menu to scroll through the available info tiles. Press the thumb wheel to select tiles you want to appear on the instrument cluster for a catered driving experience. Track Display offers 4 tiles, while other layouts offers 2. Return to the main menu and select Simplify to engage a streamlined appearance, displaying only basic information. Project additional data on Corvette's windshield with the available head-up display, or HUD. Lift up or press down on the HUD button toggle left of the steering wheel to adjust the position of the image. Press the Info button to cycle through Tour, Sport, and Track display views. Lift up or press down on the Brightness button to brighten or dim the display. Hold down this button to turn off the display. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
Let's talk about keeping your mid-engine masterpiece in mint condition. If your Corvette is equipped with these available features, they will work together to help you avoid incidents and reduce crash damage while driving, backing up, and parking. Some driver assistance features alert the driver of obstacles by beeping. Most settings can be turned on or off by going here to Settings. Let's go over the assistance systems for parking and braking. First, the HD rear vision camera. When you shift into reverse, your infotainment display will show the area behind your vehicle as filmed from a camera above your license plate. Rear Park Assist helps you back up at low speeds. It beeps to let you know you're approaching a detected object, and 5 beeps sound when an object is very close. The available curb view camera is also for low speed, under 8 mph maneuvering. The infotainment screen displays a view of the area in front of the vehicle, including a top-down image and left and right images. The front cameras can be activated by the button in front of the driver mode selector. Buttons at the bottom of the screen here allow you to modify the view from the front cameras.
If you go up to a 2LT or a 3LT, you can get rear cross traffic alert. It will warn you that there is traffic coming from both the left-hand and the right-hand side.
Available side blind zone alert displays a warning symbol on the left or right side mirror when a moving vehicle is detected in that side blind zone area. Also, the symbol flashes as an extra warning if you turn your signal on in the direction of the detected vehicle. The available rear camera mirror provides a wider, less obstructed field of view than a traditional rear view mirror to assist when driving, changing lanes, and checking traffic conditions. This can be turned on and off here, and you can also press and release this button to select the brightness, tilt, or zoom feature adjustment.
Well, we are committed to making a supercar, making the best performance car we can. We also want to make sure this vehicle is really safe.
Corvette strategically wraps the driver with tactile controls to provide both a driver-centric and user-friendly cockpit. 3 toggles and up to 14 buttons separate you from your passenger. Standard dual-zone temperature toggles bookend Corvette's long strip of buttons. Tilt up or down at the top of the road to adjust the driver's side temperature, or on the bottom toggle to adjust the passenger temperature. Press the Sync button to set a consistent temperature for both zones. Just below or above each toggle resides available heated and ventilated seat options. Press either button toward the top of the road to adjust the driver's seat, or bottom to regulate the passenger seat. A fan speed toggle switch lies at the center of all the climate controls, flanked by zone, circulation, and defrosting buttons. Press Auto to allow Corvette to automatically regulate the fan speed and zone. Turn climate controls on or off with the power button just below the fan speed toggle switch. For more information, refer to the owner's manual. Corvette's driver-centric cockpit is packed with satisfying and easy-to-use controls. Press the engine start-stop button and awaken Corvette's 6.2-liter V8 beating heart. Pull up on reverse or drive, or press park, neutral, or manual to engage. The tactile feel and operation of the reverse and drive toggles allow you to keep your eyes on the road while shifting. Grab onto Corvette's race-inspired steering wheel and a variety of controls are at your fingertips. Press the Press to Talk button to answer an incoming call, or to use natural voice recognition with the Bluetooth or OnStar system. Press and hold to activate Bluetooth voice recognition with Siri or Google Assistant with a paired compatible smartphone. Press the End Call Mute button just below it to end or decline a call, or to mute/unmute the speakers. If equipped, a heated steering wheel button will finish off this row of buttons. Rotate the right side thumb wheel or press the left or right arrows to go through the menus of the 12-inch digital instrument display. The thumb wheel can also be used to seek if the audio page is displayed. Below these controls lies volume and favorite station buttons that can be easily used while driving. Utilize the left side toggle and buttons to adjust cruise control settings. Press the prominent Z button to initiate Z mode, a customized experience catered to your driving preferences. Dial in Corvette's other driver modes by rotating the driver mode control knob on the center console. 3 additional buttons reside in front of the driver mode control knob designated for traction and stability control, the available front lift system, and the available front curb view cameras. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
Driver mode, which is what most people are used to as Tour, Sport, Track, and Weather. My mode and Z mode are actually just 2 additional modes. And we look at different use cases that people would want to optimize the vehicle for. Tour, we look at it as a balanced mode that's good at everything. Sport is a little bit more catered toward the spirited driving. Track is all about the response and how the vehicle handles around maximum cornering, maximum acceleration, and maximum driver feel of the road. Tour, Sport, Track, Weather, they're all preset. What My Mode and Z Mode will allow you to do is for the driver to configure it themselves. So if they prefer different steering, different suspension, matched together or matched differently, then they can do that in My Mode and Z Mode. We allow it to key up in My Mode so the driver can personalize their vehicles. And then they'll have it turned on every time they turn on the car. The design intent of Z Mode is for a single use case. You could set up Z Mode for that curvy road that you go on every day on the way to work. Click on Z Mode, do your curvy road, and then go back to My Mode, and that's your day.
When it comes to how you drive your Corvette, it's personal. Your Corvette comes standard with the driver mode selector. On the mode knob, you'll find the preset Weather, Tour, Sport, and Track modes, as well as My Mode. Z Mode is accessed by the steering wheel button. The mode you're in is displayed here on the Driver Information Center. Let's touch on when and why you'd use these modes. Weather mode is specifically for driving on wet or icy surfaces. It is not intended for use when the vehicle is stuck in sand, mud, ice, snow, or gravel. Tour mode is your default setting for normal city and highway driving. Sport mode is for when road conditions or personal preference demand a more controlled response. Track mode is designed for track use and gives you maximum vehicle performance settings.
Love the sport mode because it gives you kind of that edgy feel and response as you're driving. When you're in tour, it's a little bit more quiet, a little more calm. It's the mode that you want to start your car in at 4:30 in the morning so you're not waking up your neighbors. But that sport mode will definitely wake up somebody. It's got a nice, wonderful sound to it that you know that you're driving a Corvette with lots of power.
There's nothing you need to do for these 4 modes, but beyond those, there are 2 modes that allow you to customize nearly every component of driving. Those are Z Mode, your ideal setting for spirited driving with more of a single-use application, and My Mode, used to personalize everyday driving as it can be left set over ignition cycles. Let's start with Z Mode.
My favorite mode is the new Z Mode. That allows you to go into the infotainment screen and set each parameter, and then can be activated with a simple push of the steering wheel button.
You can personalize almost every aspect of your experience by configuring subsystems including engine sound, steering, powertrain, and brake response. You may also have available magnetic ride suspension. Z Mode is set from the factory with a combination of sport and track settings. To activate Z Mode, press the button here on the steering wheel. To deactivate, either select a different mode through the mode knob, or press the Z Mode button again, which will set it back to Tour mode. My Mode is very similar to Z Mode, but lacks the powertrain configuring. It will let you home in on what feels best to you for everyday driving. My Mode is set in Tour settings from factory, but can be adjusted under Settings on the center screen. Mode features will vary depending on your Corvette's equipment.
You think of a car like the mid-engine Corvette and performance cars in general, the expectation for what that car is set so high by the exterior. And as the interior design team, you really want to deliver on that promise.
We wanted to take the interior kind of the next step beyond what we've done before.
This time now you're literally sitting in that cockpit. The controls are wrapping around you in all directions.
So I think this car takes that to the next level. It really surrounds you.
Once you reset the engine to the middle of the car, that changes everything from an interior perspective.
From a front engine, you have a sense that you're behind the front wheels as you turn. And with a mid-engine, you're right close, almost on top of the wheels, and you're more leading the way as you proceed forward in the mid-engine vehicle.
It enables you, if you work really hard, to get exceptional forward visibility. You know, something where you have unlimited view.
It really allowed us to push the hood low, push the windshield touchdown extremely low, and that really set up an interior position that had these great open sight lines compared to where you normally have an engine out in front of you. So we wanted to make sure that wheel wasn't obscuring it in any way.
Now we have flats on the bottom and on the top, creating a roughly rectangular opening that gives you a perfect view of the widescreen reconfigurable display that we have behind there. One thing we're really proud of is our electronic transmission range select, what you normally think of as the lever that goes from park, reverse, neutral, drive.
We kept going back to, if it was something that you had to stop and think about and look down, it was a failure.
The challenge with electronic controls is how do you make them feel mechanical? How do you make them feel real? So we came up with a really unique geometry that can be felt like it's Braille. It's extremely intuitive. And now you have a very modern, sleek center console that actually frees up more space for the things you're carrying with you.
These little details are what make it feel special. You know, you want to have the customer open the door and really have something that maybe they weren't expecting. And then you realize this thing can only be a Corvette, but it feels like no Corvette you've ever been in before.
What if we could do a new definition of a mid-engine sports car, not just for high-performance driving, but to go on trips, adventures, just make the driving to work an experience?
Utility of the car has been something we focused on too, ensuring that we've got a space for people to store luggage or groceries or what have you. So we have a front storage section that's very deep. We've got a trunk in the rear that not only accommodates 2 bags of golf clubs, but also stows the removable roof panel.
So for 2 people, they can really have plenty of room that they can go on road trips, a car they can take vacations. And that's really what Corvette is about. They've got the high performance aspect, or it can be a great GT car where you can get in it and go on trips and not have to worry about not having enough luggage and cargo to get where you're going.
We've had customers asking us for a long time for a DCT.
The DCT stands for dual clutch transmission.
In a traditional car, while you're shifting, the car is actually decelerating because the engine is not connected to the wheels. So we said we needed a bespoke transmission, custom designed for this car, because we have engines that produce massive amounts of torque, so the DCTs that are on the shelf wouldn't stand the Corvette duty cycle.
The transmission team worked with the chassis team to fit the transmission into a package that allowed us to essentially lower the center of gravity, which helps in overall performance.
A dual clutch transmission is effectively 2 manual gearboxes that have clutches actuated by computers on a concentric shaft. So what that really means is you've got a shaft that has your even forward gears, 2, 4, 6, 8, and your odd gears, 1, 3, 5, 7. And you can simultaneously be disengaging one shaft while you're engaging the other one. So it's quicker than a human being could shift a manual transmission. This way you get the lightning fast, less than 100 milliseconds shift when you need it. We've also found that during very aggressive launches, we can actually drive torque through both shaft clutches simultaneously. So you'll be on an upshift engaging third gear, but still driving torque through second as you're engaging third. This actually improves the 0 to 60 performance of the car beyond what you could achieve in a manual transmission.
Control is yours for the taking. Manual paddle shifting will give you full transmission control for your driving experience. With the vehicle in drive, press the M or manual mode switch on the center console. Use the paddles here and here on the steering wheel to manually upshift or downshift the transmission. Your current gear will be displayed on the instrument cluster or the head-up display if your Corvette is equipped with one. Hold the down paddle to shift multiple gears to the lowest available gear for maximum acceleration. The manual paddle shift system will not allow an upshift or a downshift if the vehicle speed is too fast or too slow, nor will it allow a start from any gear other than first gear. When in manual paddle shift mode, if upshifting does not occur when needed, the rev limiter will activate to protect the engine. To prevent damage to the powertrain, manual paddle downshifts to a lower gear cannot be done above certain speeds.
It's going to just act just like a normal automatic transmission if you want it to. So if you just want to drive around town in heavy traffic or anything else, just use the automatic mode for drive. It's just going to act like a normal automatic transmission. If you want to drive more spirited, there is a manual mode that will sit there and hold the gears until you want to shift, and it'll act much more like a typical manual transmission would.
Double paddle declutching allows the vehicle to temporarily disconnect the engine from the wheels, similar to neutral or engaging the clutch pedal on a conventional manual transmission. This feature is activated by pulling and holding both the plus and minus paddle at the same time while the vehicle is in reverse, drive, or manual mode. The vehicle will remain in this condition until both the plus paddle and minus paddle are released.
I really like the double paddle declutch. That just gives you the true feeling that you're still driving a manual sports car. If you really want to sidestep the clutch or anything else, if you want to rev the exhaust at a friend as you're driving by them, that gives you the nice feeling that you're still in the sports car.
One thing we're really proud of is our electronic transmission range select, what you normally think of as the lever that goes from park, reverse, neutral, drive.
We wanted to come up with a design that really was fundamentally intuitive to use. So we've got two toggles that you're going to interact with the most, your reverse and your drive. Both are pull toggles, and they're almost mirrored versions of each other.
The challenge with electronic controls is how do you make them feel mechanical? How do you make them feel real? So we came up with a really unique geometry that can be felt like it's Braille. Once you get used to it, which doesn't take very long, it's extremely intuitive. And now you have a very modern, sleek center console that actually frees up more space for the things you're probably going to be carrying with you.
The electronic shifter was also really important for us in the sense that making sure that it had movement to it. It wasn't just a simple button. We wanted to make sure it didn't feel like anything else in the rest of the car. It shouldn't feel like a window switch. It shouldn't feel like a button on your volume there. It should be its own special control the same way a regular shifter is on another car. For us, this was that push to do something new and unique and something that would be completely unexpected, yet again feel uniquely Corvette.
Electronic Limited-slip Differential, or ELSD, was in the previous generation, the C7 Corvette. And so we've taken all that software and kept fine-tuning it and refining it. It's basically like a clutch between the two rear wheels. So we can open that up and then they can roll independently. So if you're going around a corner, the car is super agile. If you connect it up, the wheels don't want to turn at a different speed, so then the car kind of plows straight forward. We've got this giant bandwidth there to tune and to make the car feel right in all these different conditions. The other thing that the ELSD software does is it brings in tire temperatures from the tire pressure sensor system, and it tells the ELSD, hey, we're in the cold condition right now, we're in the winter, or it's really hot, we're in the summer, so we can tune the performance around the actual temperature of the tires. Corvette should inspire confidence in the driver, and that's what I bring with our tuning of the diff, is to make the driver comfortable, make the driver want to drive harder on the next lap and the next lap and the next lap.
A vehicle like the Corvette has very demanding track requirements. So we need a world-class lubrication system. A conventional vehicle has a passive system where oil that's distributed through the engine passively drains back from the various places of the engine and is ultimately collected in the oil pan. In a dry-sump system, the oil is actively harvested by scavenge pumps and forcibly pumped from the engine out to an external reservoir. At high engine speeds, every time an engine rotates, the gas wind velocities in the crankcase will actually exceed 100 miles per hour. That tornado of wind causes the oil to froth.
When you have a Dry-sump system, it also gives you confidence that you can take the inertial loads that you encounter on a track, the oil sloshing around in turns or overheaves, and really make sure that you can maintain oil pressure at the critical lubrication points in the engine while you're really working it hard and really working it hot. The reason we made it standard in this generation car is it allowed us to lower the engine and transmission as low as possible, and this really lowers the center of gravity of the car, which helps in handling.
That lower position enables us to mount directly to the new DCT transaxle to have direct alignment for us to take the energy from the engine and transmit it directly through the transmission into the rear axle. Corvette never disappoints. All your worries go away with one strike of the accelerator pedal.
Avoid the pain of an obstacle with the push of a button. Speed bumps, steep driveways, and more can be overcome with available front lift. If your vehicle is equipped with this available feature, be sure you're going no faster than 24 miles per hour.
Front lift is an optional feature we have on this vehicle. It is a two-stage hydraulic lift where with the touch of a button, it will raise the front end of your car about 2 inches in under 3 seconds.
Once you're over the obstacle, press the button to lower it, or it will lower on its own once you've exceeded 24 miles per hour or turn the vehicle off. The system can remember up to 1,000 locations using GPS navigation in the vehicle. During a driver-requested front lift, use the 4-way pad located on the steering wheel to remember or dismiss that location. The same 4-way pad is used to delete a stored location. If you get the message lift system unavailable, it could be that a door or the hood is open, or that you're driving faster than 24 miles per hour. It could also be that there were too many lift requests in a short period of time. And of course, all of this information and more can be found in your owner's manual.
That's another example of what we've learned from customers. They say, I like the looks of the car, I like the sportiness of it. I don't like when it scrapes when I go in my driveway. What can you do about it? And so that's something we did about it.
Viscosity is a virtue for your Corvette. Your best bet is to have your dealer handle maintenance, but this is a primer if you plan to handle it yourself.
To check the oil on the 2020 Corvette, you will actually leave the engine running to do this. Just let it at idle. You want to make sure that the engine's warm. You'll walk back to the engine compartment, grab the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert it into the tube and pull it back out and compare it to the hash marks on the dipstick.
If the oil is below the cross-hatched area, add a quart of the recommended oil through the oil fill cap opening here, then recheck the level. For convertibles, press lock and the convertible top buttons on the key fob to open the tonneau and access the oil fill dipstick and coolant fill covers. Make sure the covers are sealed after use. Using engine oil approved to the proper specification and viscosity grade is crucial. To check your coolant, Be sure the system is cool and that the vehicle is on a level surface. Check to see if coolant is visible in the coolant surge tank. If the coolant inside the coolant surge tank is boiling, do not do anything else until it cools down. If the coolant is low, add the precise mixture of 40% Dex-Cool coolant and 60% clean, drinkable water, or take the vehicle to your dealer for service. The wiper fluid reservoir is located here. If you'll be using your Corvette in temperatures that may fall below freezing, use a fluid that has sufficient protection against freezing. We've been walking you through things on this coupe, but a convertible is laid out a little bit differently. You check the oil here, the coolant here, and the wiper fluid is in the same place, under the hood.
We know that a lot of customers enjoy working on their cars, and we try to make the Corvette no exception to that.
Touch, pinch, and swipe an app on the standard high-definition 8-inch diagonal touchscreen, and Corvette's next-generation infotainment system responds with immediacy. If equipped, touch the navigation icon to gain access to available connected navigation services such as real-time traffic, up-to-date points of interest, local fuel prices, and parking options. Predictive navigation also learns your preferred routes and destinations to offer cater alerts utilizing OnStar, such as traffic on your route home. Plug in your compatible phone to utilize Corvette's standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capabilities. Near-field communication, or NFC, allows contactless communication between your compatible smartphone and Corvette, simplifying the Bluetooth pairing process. Place your phone with its screen facing out between the seats in Corvette's dedicated phone pocket with available wireless charging. The battery charging symbol will appear on the infotainment screen when charging. If not charging, remove the device for 3 seconds and rotate it 180 degrees before placing it in the pocket again. Multiple unique profiles offer a personalized experience, allowing adjustments for settings like radio presets, display preferences, and downloaded apps. You can either link a user profile to a particular key fob or create many others for a higher level of customization. Throughout your vehicle's lifecycle, you can download and update a wide array of apps developed specifically for in-vehicle use. Bose audio systems surround you and your passenger with a standard 10 speakers. An available 14-speaker Bose Performance Series audio system gains stainless steel speaker grills, adorned with a Corvette insignia on the center speaker for a refined look. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
The magnetic ride control is something that's been around for quite a while now. We're now on the 4th generation. This is a semi-active system where you replace all the valving, the ports, and the shock oil with iron particles that you can change the orientation of the particle by applying a current. The most obvious difference is the ability to change the way the car reacts to both driver inputs and road inputs. You know, it can be a very relaxed car. You're not feeling every bump in the road. You go to sport mode, and it moves everything up a notch. The car becomes a little more taut, a little more connected to the road. It's a track day, and you go to track mode. It's got all that additional capability for those type of events, too. But the control is there when you want it, and it's gone when you don't.
With the vehicle on and in park, adjust the driver's seat, power outside mirrors, and steering wheel if equipped, and then press the Set button. Release the button after a beep emanates. Immediately press and hold the 1 or 2 memory button until 2 beeps sound. Use the Exit Memory button instead to store seat and power steering column positions for more clearance when exiting the vehicle. Repeat these steps to set additional driver or passenger side memory seating positions. Tap Settings on the center infotainment screen, Vehicle, Seating Position, and then Seat Entry or Exit Memory to further configure automatic seat movements to your liking. Recall any saved positions manually by pressing and holding the respective physical buttons on either the driver or passenger side, or automatically by linking one of the two remote keys. Match the remote key number displayed in the Driver Information Center welcome message to the corresponding memory button when storing memory settings for automatic seat entry and exit memory to work properly. For example, set remote 2 to memory seat number 2. One remote has a chrome flag and the other has a black flag for easy identification outside of the vehicle. Carry the linked remote key to your Corvette to enable these automatic personalized settings on the next key on cycle. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
It's an interesting bit of history to look back and see how we decided to move away from our comfort zone and started working on a mid-engine car. I think a lot of the leadership thought we want to go to mid-engine because it's cool, because the most exotic sports cars in the world were mid-engine, but actually we were doing it because we felt like we were reaching the limit of our performance capability in the architectures that we had, and so we had to do something to move that forward. We put together the compelling arguments why it would make sense to at least study. We ended up presenting to a lot of top leadership to get a critical mass of them on board to say, you know what, these guys might be onto something.
When I first heard that they were gonna make the new Corvette mid-engine, really it was a game changer.
The easiest way to describe it in a single word would be frightening. It's a daunting responsibility. We've had such success, and here we are making this fundamental shift in the car that if we don't do right, we potentially do something terrible to this great legacy of a brand.
We're bordering on 70 years of this vehicle. So you have this lineage to it that you have to maintain, but you also have to be willing to grow and take it further.
From a design standpoint, the vehicle had to be incredibly beautiful, and at the end of the day, when you step back and look at it, it has to say Corvette.
Everything's backwards on a mid-engine car. You can't move one thing in the inside of the car without affecting a whole bunch of other things. When you put the engine in the back, you actually want to think about moving stuff forward. So to get the right amount of weight on the front, you actually have to move those front wheels rearward. From the driver's perspective, having less weight on the front wheels means you need less boost in the steering, which means more tactile feedback, so more direct steering. You're not sitting out in the periphery and the car rotates about a point distant from you. The car is rotating about you, and that's a very different driving experience.
With the mid-engine attributes, you'd have the rear weight bias from the engine for better acceleration, performance, and track times, as well as the low forward cowl for excellent visibility, and the lighter front, which really makes the car fun to drive.
That helps for driver confidence. It helps to get the car around the track safer and faster. Corvette prides itself on being a very light, very stiff vehicle, and we from the beginning said we want to take the Corvette formula and apply all that goodness to a mid-engine architecture. We didn't want to fall into the trap where the car gets hard to drive, and that's been the problem we've been working to solve for the last 14 years.
What we've developed is a car that really delivers that sort of balance between delivering a modern sports car driving experience and yet delivers the comfort, isolation, and the ability to drive the car on almost any road in any weather.
When we finally got to the track, I just burst out laughing because it was like, oh my God, that's what we wanted. You come into corner, you hard brake, you whip the wheel around, it turns on a dime, and then you can get right on the gas, and it's just so easy to drive. You could write a book about what Corvette means to all different segments of society. Corvette is an emotional driving experience. No matter who you are in life, when you get into a Corvette, you're a superhero.
Replay and relive your best moments behind the wheel. Your Corvette may be equipped with a Performance Data Recorder, or PDR. There are a lot of do's and don'ts regarding when it's safe and legal to use the PDR. Refer to your owner's manual for those. We'll just be going over how to use it.
You can record video, audio, the data from the car, speed, G-forces, accelerator, brake. You have a record of what you did. You can show your friends and really help yourself learn how to become a better driver.
Insert a Class 10 SD card that's 16 gigabytes or larger into the card reader in the glove box.
And there's a PDR icon on the menu. Push that so you can keep recording until you're ready to stop, and you hit the button to stop recording, and then you have it on that SD card.
The recording must be stopped and the file closed before removing the SD card, or the recording may be lost. Touch Video Overlay to display the menu screen. Touching Preview provides a live preview of the overlay selected. Choose what information you want displayed over your video. None won't display data, but that data is still available with the video when it's accessed in the Toolbox software. Sport displays speed, RPM, current gear, left and right G-forces, and an event odometer. Track displays the same data as Sport, as well as a GPS tracking map for known routes, lap times, and more. The system can even learn tracks and circuits with your help. Timing displays 0 to 60 times and other speed and distance milestones, as well as lap timings and more. The recording of a driving session is adjustable. You can choose to record audio if you like, and you can set up automatic recording to begin whenever the vehicle is in the run power mode. You may also set it to record when the vehicle is in valet mode for added peace of mind.
It's a great tool, not just to brag to your friends about what you can do, but also teach you to be a better driver. So after you get back from the track, you can compare lap times, you can compare corner speeds. It's really a very powerful tool for making you a better driver and getting the most performance out of your Corvette.
Freedom is driving a Corvette with the top off. If you have a Coupe, this is how you remove the roof panel. You may need help to do this. Be sure the car's parked and off with the parking brake set and the windows open. Lower both sun visors. Open the rear hatch and remove any items in the roof panel storage area. Then release the two handles on the front and the one handle on the rear of the roof panel, like this.
You simply lift it up and take it over the back and store it in.
The roof should rest on the upper receivers. Ensure it's in place with a quick forward push. Reinstalling the roof panel is easier if you have help. You basically follow the same steps in reverse. Once it's positioned, check that the weather stripping on each side is under the panel. The front release handles should be fully open. Push the roof firmly downward to engage the pins. Lock all three handles in place and hook the rear handle's hook in the loop. Now for the convertible.
You get the looks of a coupe, all the utility of a coupe, and the push-button convenience of open-air driving.
Before opening the convertible top, remove all objects that may contact the convertible top when it's operated. The trunk must be closed. Start the vehicle or place it in accessory mode. When possible, operate the convertible top when the vehicle is stopped. Although the top can be operated while driving below 30 miles per hour, press and hold this button. The windows will automatically lower, and the chime indicates that the convertible top is completely open. The convertible can be opened using the remote key, but it cannot be closed with it. To close the convertible top, take all the same precautions you did to open it.
Early feedback from customers are very excited. We expect that once those get on the road and people get to see them up close, we're going to have some converts from the coupe to the convertible.
Corvette hides access to its storage compartments for the hood, hatch, and door releases, all to retain a sculptural aerodynamic exterior surface. With the key fob within 3 feet of your Corvette, press the touchpad below the driver's side grille opening below the headlamp, the hood release button twice on your key fob, or interior button on the driver's side door panel to open the front cargo compartment. This area can fit an airline spec carry-on and a laptop bag for added convenience. Close the hood by pulling it down and setting the striker gently into the latch. Firmly press down on the front edge of the hood until the latch clicks twice. Open the hatch by pressing the touchpad above the license plate, hatch release button twice on your key fob, or interior button on the driver's side door panel. Here, you can store additional luggage, 2 sets of golf clubs, or Corvette's removable roof panel. Pull the hatch down lightly until the power latch feature activates, closing the trunk automatically. Open either door with the key fob on you and tap the touchpad tucked under the air inlet. Inside, a hidden button in front of the passenger seat reveals a generous glove box to store smaller items. Place your phone between the seats in Corvette's dedicated compartment with available wireless charging. Other storage areas in the center console, door panels, and center armrest make Corvette an ideal grand touring vehicle. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
You think of a car like the mid-engine Corvette, and the expectation for what that car is set so high by the exterior, and you really want to deliver on that promise.
What we wanted to do was kind of go to a 3-seat strategy.
GT1, GT2, and competition. With the GT1 seat, that gives you your perfect everyday kind of driving seating position, comfortable bolsters. The new entry that we have for this one is the GT2.
The GT2 seat is really an exciting seat. It's a Napa leather. It has the most color blocking opportunities. It's a really beautiful formed seat.
The other side effect of that is it allowed us to really dial up the competition seat.
So we brought in a new material. It does a couple of things. One, it holds you in, and then the other side of it is it eliminates a little bit more leather because every ounce counts on this vehicle, especially when you're tracking it.
When we started designing the interior, we wanted to make sure that it felt uniquely Corvette, but it feels like no Corvette you've ever been in before.
Raise or lower Corvette Convertible's first ever retractable hardtop in about 16 seconds and while driving up to 30 miles per hour. Ensure the roof and tonneau cover are clear of any objects and the trunk is closed. Before lowering the top, start the vehicle and then press and hold the convertible top button on the driver's door. Windows will lower automatically and a chime will sound when the top is completely lowered. Press the mid-glass button on the driver's door to lower the rear window with the top up or down. Pull the same button to raise the rear window. Remotely lower the top by pressing and releasing the unlock button, and then pressing and holding the convertible top button on your key fob. Raise the tonneau cover by pressing the lock, and then the convertible top button on the key fob. Ideal for oil and coolant checks or fillings. Raise the top by pulling and holding up the convertible top button on the driver's door. A chime will sound when the top is completely raised, offering added security and quietness while retaining Corvette's signature shape and beauty. For more information, refer to the owner's manual. Before removing Corvette's roof panel, shift into park. Lower both sun visors and windows. Turn the vehicle off, and then set the parking brake. Open the rear hatch and remove any items that may interfere with proper storage of the roof panel. 3 release handles detach the roof panel, 2 above the sun visors and 1 at the rear of the panel. Pull each front release handle outward to unlock. Then press the button on the front of the rear lever. With 1 or 2 people, carefully lift the front edge of the roof panel up and forward. Once loose, grasp the center of the roof panel and lift it away from the vehicle. Conveniently store the roof panel in the rear of your Corvette with the interior facing forward and rear edge entering first. Position the rear pins into the lower receivers. Push each front corner of the panel forward until it clicks into the upper receivers. Before reinstalling the roof, Make sure both windows are down and the vehicle is in park with the parking brake engaged. Remove the roof from the cargo area by pulling toward the rear of the vehicle until it separates from the upper receivers. Carefully lift the roof panel out of the trunk and then lightly place the roof panel over the top of the vehicle. Align and fit the rear edges of the roof into the openings in the overhead weather strip. Gently lower the front edge of the roof panel to the front of the roof opening. Make sure the weather stripping on each side of the roof panel is under the panel and each front release handle is in the fully open position. Pull down and turn each front release handle inward and push back and up on the rear release handle to lock the panel back in place. For more information, refer to the owner's manual.
It's a very comfortable touring car. It's a great back road carver. And of course, it's a very, very potent track weapon for those that want to maximize the performance.
The Z51 performance package is required for track events and competitive driving, and your vehicle may not be equipped with it. If it is, consult the track prep guide for more in-depth info. But here's an overview. First things first.
Check fluid levels, of course. That's basic with any track preparation. We ask you to add 2 quarts of transmission fluid for some extra robustness and track durability.
It is not required to remove the additional 2 quarts of dual clutch transmission fluid. Any transmission level set or change should be performed at your dealer, and the transmission fluid and the external filter should be changed after every 24 hours of track usage.
After that, we ask that you change the brake fluid to a high temperature, high boiling point brake fluid, 310 degrees C boiling point or higher.
There is a brake fade warning assist system in place to help ensure safe driving conditions while track driving. Messages may appear advising you to reduce braking to avoid overheating or to have your brakes serviced. Follow all advice. New brake pads must be burnished before racing or other competitive driving. The 2 brake burnishing procedure options are spelled out in detail in your owner's manual and in the track prep guide.
When we finally got to the track with real physical hardware, some of us were holding our breath. We were a little bit nervous.
The first drive in the car wasn't honestly the most inspiring thing. There's a lot of work we have to do. We will often break things that we honestly didn't expect to break. Track testing really is the essence of what drives our team to achieve things we haven't in the past. If you have a deep relationship with the car that you've developed on the racetrack, where you've pushed it to and beyond its limit, you find it opens up this whole window of your brain where you can feel things happening in the car that you would never notice before.
Part of what we're trying to achieve here is to make sure that we could fully integrate, fully tune all aspects of the car. The components are all there, the hardware is well baked, there's a lot of calibration work that's required, and we are now taking that final 80% to the finished, polished product.
If you talk to our ride and handling engineers and our chassis control engineers, they live in that car. That is their office space. That's literally where they go to work every day.
So the big thing we had to adapt to was our tuning style and how we adapt to a new center of gravity location and how we can take advantage of all the rear tire that this car has.
Been on different test tracks and had a chance to slide the car around, drift it a little bit on our vehicle dynamic test area. That was very exciting. I've had a chance to ride along on our durability test where we really punished the car on Belgian blocks and gravel roads and thousands of miles of stuff that a normal Corvette owner would never subject their car to. I've had a chance to be in the car at our cold weather test site on ice and snow where we're challenging the stability systems and chassis controls to deliver great performance. And you think about, it was just a couple years ago, we were looking at some computer renderings on a screen as the initial bones for the car. And here it is, you know, a very compelling 3-dimensional machine working at this level. And it was just, it was sort of for me the point that I know we had really completed the mission that we had set out to do.
About a month ago, we were at the track, and I thought, well, this is the last time this is going to be a new thing for me. This is when I get out of the car in 45 minutes after a tank of fuel, this is going to be the Corvette. And it's not going to be the new Corvette, it's going to be the Corvette. That for me was the moment where I saw the real light switch on the mid-engine architecture, was that it's just so easy to be fast and to have fun.
The 2020 Corvette Stingray is a game changer.
Your Corvette should walk before it runs. The first 200 miles are for breaking in your tires and brake linings, so drive at moderate speeds and avoid hard cornering and hard stops. During your first 500 miles, engine torque is limited in low gears.
If you have a brand new gear and you're wearing it in with excessive torque, you can create wear patterns that are not ideal.
Avoid full throttle starts, abrupt stops, and driving at constant speeds, including the use of cruise control. You shouldn't exceed 4,000 RPM, but if you do, don't downshift to brake or slow the vehicle. During your first 1,500 miles, you should check the engine oil every time you refuel and add oil if necessary. Oil and fuel consumption may be higher than normal during the break-in period. Wait until you've passed 1,500 miles to participate in track or sport driving events of any kind. For more information, there are many resources available to you on Chevy.com and in your owner's manual. And once you've passed 1,500 miles, the break-in period is over.
Be patient with it, and if you are, the car will be good for the rest of its life.
Basic maintenance, in some ways, it's even easier than previous generations of Corvette. While the car is a mid-engine supercar, we want to make sure that costs of ownership and maintenance are not supercar territory.
Such a beautiful machine should be lovingly cared for. Oil changes and transmission fluid checks can be done by your dealer's trained service people. If you plan to do your own oil changes, you'll find Corvette was designed with easy access openings under the car for the oil drain and filter, so the closeout panels do not need to be removed to do an oil change.
New for the 2020 Corvette is a dry sump tank on the new LT2 engine. With this improved lubrication, we no longer require that the customer take the car to the dealer at 500 miles to do an oil change. Now your first scheduled maintenance will be at 7,500 miles.
Factors including temperature, miles driven, and driving conditions can cause the fluid life to vary. The transmission filter must be changed during your first oil change. Transmission fluid should be changed at 45,000 miles. A computer indicates when to change the oil or transmission fluid. When that happens, it's best to have the work done as soon as possible. One of the best ways to take care of your new Corvette is to let your dealer help.
The Z51 is a performance package that takes the goodness of the Stingray road car and elevates it to a hardcore racetrack beast. The Z51 package includes a lot of performance-enhancing items, like tires that are more racetrack-oriented, brakes are larger, we add a Z51-specific front splitter and a Z51-specific spoiler. The electronic limited-slip differential is a huge performance enabler, and it goes on and on. Seeing the Z51 package at work is amazing because we've already exceeded where the current car is. We've got the Z51 now to a level where we're in new territory for the car. We're positioned to rock the world with this one.
When I was about 10, a neighbor of ours had a 67 Corvette. And to me, it looked like a spaceship. It was astonishing, the sort of visual and emotional power that car had.
Growing up, I really was a fan of the concept cars, like the Aero and the Corvette Indy. And in my mind, that was the obvious vision of where the Corvette needs to go to take it to the next level.
The idea of a mid-engine Corvette goes all the way back to the early 60s. Zora Arkus Duntov, he basically put Corvette on the map. He was mainly focused on absolute performance, nothing else. He lived at a time when the elite race classes were changing, shifting from front-engine cars to engines placed behind the driver.
You think of the history, the people, the mystique of the car. We're reaching back to the past, to these other automotive legends that started this journey. We're simply taking the baton and taking it across the finish line.
One thing we knew when we started studying a mid-engine car in earnest was that it was possible to do a mid-engine car, but is it going to be easy enough to live with? Is it going to have a reasonable amount of luggage? Is it going to be loud? You know, you got an engine inches behind you.
So for us, it was like, how do we deliver that exotic hypercar experience and still make it feel uniquely Corvette?
Corvette is more than just a vehicle. It's a lifestyle, it's a feeling, it's an element of passion that I think transcends not only time, but I think generations and cultures over the course of its life.
The thing that was striking was when we parked the new car next to the old car. We weren't really appreciating the distinction between what we had, which was really excellent, and where we were going, which was really unbelievable.
What's really going to be exciting is this is going to be the car for a new generation. When that 2020 Corvette Stingray hits the road, that's going to be the car. Oh my gosh, it's the car I have to have.
When the cars get out on the street and you see them in the real world, it's going to be like the reaction I had when I was about 10, where people will look at it and they just will not believe what they're seeing.